So, what is your name?
Hello, my name is Maihan Nguyen.
Okay. So, what was your childhood like before you became a refugee?
Okay, um, I was born during the war, during the Vietnam War. So during the first 8 years of my life, it was pretty peaceful. But then after I you know got to my 8 year birthday, then the communists started coming over to the south. And so we originally we lived in Nha Trang, one of the city in the central part of Vietnam. But then when the communists come over, there's so many refugees came into to the south from the north and from the central of Vietnam. So during before April 1975. There's so many refugees coming to Nha Trang, so we had to evacuate the school. So like the students have to stop going to the school because they use the schoolyard for all the refugees. And then during March of 1975, the communists start coming to Nha Trang. So we have to run over to more south to Saigon by boat. So my family got on a boat. We got to Vũng Tàu, a beach city in the south, and then we walked to my uncle's house in Saigon.
How was it like in Saigon? Like, what was your experience like there?
It was very chaotic at that time because people were preparing to flee for your life. Some people, if they get connection with people in another country, then they prepare to go out of the country. And then after we stay in Saigon for a few weeks, and the communists come to Saigon. So we had to run from our uncle's house to another part of city on foot. And so along the way, we saw so many people got shot, or a lot of people, lost their parents, lost their kids. So very, very chaotic at that time. Yeah.
How long were you on the run?
It happened within a few days. Yeah, and then the communists took over Saigon on April 30th.
How did you get food and water during that time?
A few stores still open, and then we at first we stay at my uncle's house, so they have food there, and then we run to another uncle's house. So they have some food there, and then after a few days, the communists settle the cities. Then people start open up the stores and stuff again, and then after that, the communists just ration the food to us. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you come to America?
As we grow up under the communist government, because my dad was working with the former government, so we knew for sure that it's really hard for us to go to university because he was in jail for a few years, and then there was a lot of restriction for children of the former veterans. So, and we always wanted to achieve higher education and freedom. So we always find a way to get out of that situation. So my parents have been always tried for us to escape Vietnam.
So did you come by boat, by plane?
Yeah, we are boat people.
So what effects did being a refugee during that time have on your life today? Like, do you still see the family that you were with back then?
I think being a refugee helps a lot. with what we achieved today, because having been through all those hardship and difficult time, giving us more determination and more will to achieve a better life for us. So my own experience, my family's experience, and my friends' experience, whoever came trying to escape Vietnam, we all work really hard, not only in studying, but also in working. So most of us doing very well nowadays.
What did you study in
Okay, because I was major in chemistry before in Vietnam. So when I came over here, I was looking for a career that that has something to do with chemistry. But then when I talk to people, the people who's major in chemistry, it seems like not very interesting to me. And I also love to treat people. I love learning about Eastern medicine and doing chiropractors and stuff. Oh, no, not chiropractor, acupuncture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when I talked to my counselor in college, he recommended pharmacy. So that's what I studied.
Oh, that's cool. Would you ever go back to Vietnam, or have you ever gone back?
I have not gone back to Vietnam because I have been too busy studying, and then after that working and having kids. So I haven't been able to go over. But I would love to go over to come to visit Vietnam at one point when my kids are a little bit older.
Okay. So what was your boat experience like?
Oh, okay, let me tell you the whole story. So we start in Vũng Tàu, which is a big and tourist area, tourist beach city, which is very bold for the organizers of the escape, because there's a lot of tourists there, but they just did it. You know, when there's a fisherman pulling in their boat at one side, and then there are tourists walking along the beach on the other side. But then we were just strolling around along the beach, and then they had the boat was really far outside, out in the ocean, and then they just pull something looked like a basket, you know, a very very round basket into the shore, and then we were just strolling in pair along the beach, and then they just told us at that time around 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. They told us to get onto that basket. So we just climb, you know, wade into the water and then climb onto the basket, and then they pull us to the boat. And then we got on the boat. The boat's very small. It's only 2 meters wide and maybe 7 to 9 meters long. And they have the hold. I don't know how to call it, but they have the square boxes underneath where they put fish. So they told us to get down into that hole. So we just sit there, and then always sit on the floor, you know, with our knee up, and then we just sit one next to each other, and then the hole got so full that people start sitting on top of each other. And then, do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah.
And then there was one man that's really, really big. And then he couldn't sit down because he was kind of the last one to get into the boat. And then he could not breathe, so he stood up and he stuck his head out of the opening of the hole. And then he just stood there, and then everybody was like, sit down so that we can breathe. But he was like, I can't breathe either. So he just stood there. But then after maybe 37 of us got on the boat, there was a lot of people still left on the shore, and then we heard gunshot. So the policeman noticed and then came after. So the people on the boat, they just cut the rope for the remaining basket, and then we just run out. So we ran throughout the night until the next morning we got to the international line. That's when the owner of the boat told us that we can get up on board. So we get up, but then the boat is so small, so we just sat like our back to each other, and then we're just facing both sides of the boat. So it was very peaceful for the first 2 days. But then the third night, they planned to go to Malaysia. But then the third night, we were chased by a pirate boat. Well, they said that it's a pirate boat. So we just ran, trying to get away. So we ran for the whole night, and then the next morning, we didn't see the other boat. But then we didn't know where we were because we ran off course, and we found out that they didn't have the compass or anything. So we were lost, and then we were just running for another day. And by that time, we didn't have any more food and water. And then we saw a Hong Kong's the business ship or whatever is a big ship. They gave us some food, some dry food, and some water, which is the raw noodle that she was talking about. So we just opened up the bag and just eat the raw noodle. But they didn't let us get on their boat, but they showed us the way to the nearest island. Because they said that if we continue to go, we'll just go out into the more Pacific Ocean. Then there will be no more island around. So we had to turn, and then we went to a very, very small island of Indonesia. But then we didn't know that it was the coral reef area. So when we saw the island far ahead, then our boat was pierced by the coral, and then the water started coming into the boat. So we had to jump out of the boat because we start sinking. So we just jumped out of the boat, and then we just trying to get on shore. So by the time we got on shore, our feet and our legs are like cut by the coral. So we stay on the island for 1 month before the UNICEF ship coming around and then take us to the big island, the big island of Indonesia, where the refugee camps is. So,
how did you survive on the island?
It's a very, very small island, and there's a small group of Indonesian army there just to guard the island. And then the natives live a little bit further away, but they give us food, and then they just let us stay at the station. They were really, really nice, extremely nice to us. But we had no means to contact our parents in Vietnam to inform them that we got there safely. So by the time we got to the big island and be able to send the telegraph to them, they thought we are dead. Because for a month, there's no information from us at all.
Okay.
Already recorded?
How was your experience at the refugee camps in Indonesia like?
Okay. It's very interesting. Because at first we were so happy that we can, we arrived on land safely. But then for the whole month in the small island, we didn't do much at all because all day long we just wait for the ship to come and collect us. So it was very peaceful at that time. Just a little bit worried about our parents not knowing if we are alive or not. And then when the big ship comes, it's a huge ship. They had like about a few thousand refugees that they collect along the way, because Indonesia has a lot of little islands, and there's so many refugees landing on their islands. So they go around, and by the time they get to us, we were like the last stop for them. So when we got on the ship, there was like a few thousand people there already, very crowded. And when we go down into the hold, I got really sick, because I don't know why, but I just need to get up there, so that I can get in the air. But then when we got into the big refugee camp, the name is Galang, the Galang camp. There was a lot of refugees there, and they was standing on both sides, and they greet us very well. And then we actually met our cousins who left Vietnam like almost a month after us, but they landed directly at Galang, so they were at the refugee before us. It was kind of a happy occasion for us, because now we know that, okay, we got into the big refugee camps, and we know that we have a future. So they divide us into a small group, and then they assign houses for us. It's like I don't know how to call it, but like a wooden apartment with like one bedroom. Let's say, but each family has one, so it's pretty nice. And then every day we go to like a community center, and they give us food. They give us rice, and sometimes meat, or sometimes fish, and some vegetable. And then we just make our own meal. And then there's each house has some strip of land around. So I start planting my onions and tomato there too. And then they people in the camps, if they know some occupations, they taught other people. So we learn how to make clothes, and then we learn more English. Just the refugees people teaching each other. So and then we apply for the country where we want to go, and after 6 months they interview us, and they decide who can go to which country. So after 6 months, and they accept. My sister, I left Vietnam with 3 of my sisters, so they accepted us to America. But after we got accepted to America,